All right. Hello, everyone. This is Tripp, and I'm here with Kristen and Sarey, camp directors.
Woo!
Oh yeah, that's what I'm talking about. And we're gonna be giving a little preview, survey, a alluring survey even of Theology Beer Camp for the over 300 of you that are already registered to come to get an idea
Wow.
what's coming, answer some questions and all that kind of stuff. And for those of you that are on the anxious bench, that area at tent revivals during the Great Awakening, where if you were like feeling like a sinner, but you needed the Holy Ghost to hit you hard to get you down the aisle, that way it was really close. Not because it was effective at manipulating. No, no, no. The anxious bench was a way. It was a sign by sitting on the front that like high quality, evocative preaching of the gospel would get you to walk up front. You know, get baptized in the blood and junk. Well, we aren't going to baptize anyone with blood. We're just going to lure you to nerd out with your geek out with, hundreds of other nerds and have fun with Godpods and things. And so, yeah. And this year, we haven't even normally sold tickets at this point.
Whoa.
Because, well, normally it runs on how Tripp plans is post it of the urgent, but with the powers of Kristen and Sarey, we're planning, we're getting people coming, it's getting pumped. So I'm excited. Now both of y'all have done stuff on the podcast and things before, so a lot of people may be familiar with you, but not that y'all are like a tag team powerhouse of Tidy Co. So let's see what Sarey, how about you introduce what y'all are up to with Tidy Co and such, and then we'll
For sure.
then we can let everyone know, kind of what y'all are up to as behind beer camp and such.
Yeah, Kristen and I officially formed Tidy Co Creative last year as we're the co-founders. And we are excited to be the official design and marketing partners of Theology Beer Camp 2024. And we do a broad range of marketing and communications and website consulting, especially for people when understanding spiritual and religious stuff matters. So if, we bring along our handy dandy master's degrees in theology. I can't even say that with a straight face. With handy dandy theology,
handy dandy, eh?
Handy dandy philosophy and theology masters, and our marketing experience. When does that matter? A lot for Theology Beer Camp, and and a lot of our other clients too. So having a lot of cultural competence in those areas, and as well as a lot of marketing experience from various industries. Yes, we bring along Tidy Co Creative for your needs. tidycocreative.com.
Oh yeah.
And can I just note that Sarey's got a Mr. Rogers shirt on under an incredible cardigan, as if one wasn't enough.
Vintage French cardigan. And this is a Target shirt from like 10 years ago that I like cut up. I got armpit stains and stuff. And
hence the cardigan.
The cardigan.
Oh my gosh.
It's a reason for everything.
Wow. And that's theology.
Well, Kristen joined in the middle of the year last year as camp director. So why don't you tell everyone what our goal is as we hang out for a bit, and then also everyone know we're going to do some more of these as it leads up to camp, so everyone goes in feeling more informed, making their schedule and getting prepped to hang in things. But
yeah, so don't feel like you need to have all your questions ready. You can ask them now, ask them later, and we've got some good ones to cover. I first want to say hello to some of the people who have chatted with us already. Someone was saying it's their first year. So excited for you. I remember my first year back in the day, and let me tell you, I had no idea what I was in for. And somehow now I'm camp director with Sarey. So big things can happen is all I have to say. Today, we're going to lead you through a little bit of an overview. Many will know, but a few more details. We're going to get into some sponsorships, the activities, the speakers, the podcasters, the Godpods, and then some of our listener submitted questions and just camp attendee submitted questions. And then who knows what sprinkling of randomness will happen along the way. So glad to be here. I wore my most official collared shirt for this event to show that I'm a camp director. I was going to get an ascot, and I know I've got some hanging around, but I've moved not that long ago, and I can't find my ascot.
Your ascot collection.
My ascot collection is currently missing. Please forgive me, everyone, but don't worry, I'll find it in time for camp.
All right, I'm optimistic, but look, we need the power suit at camp, and yes,
it'll be there.
You'll be able to watch the video later if you're joining live and want to go back and hear what we said or watch part of it and that kind of thing. We'll send a link to everyone that's already registered for camp too. So, all right, here we go. Let's see. Maybe we should stick us on the side in case there's things that are going to be covered up.
Yeah.
But look at that. Look, there we are. And like the Misty Mountains are in the background.
Absolutely.
Or are they the Rockies? We don't know. It could be both and.
It's New Zealand.
New Zealand, the Denver of the other hemisphere, as they always say. Yes. All right. Wow. Hey, Tripp, what is homebrewed Christianity?
Oh, geez. It's my podcast. We've done it a long time. There's lots of episodes.
That's not what the slide says, Tripp.
I know, but that, I don't want to. It's been going a really long time.
Most prolific and downloaded theology podcast of all time. Do you hear this, everyone? Most prolific, millions of downloads, hundreds of hours of episodes.
Could be substituted for persistence. Like the most persistent. Somebody's like, I should put 3 hours of me talking out about God and philosophy and theology and stuff for 16 years. And maybe it was all just to get us to Theology Beer Camp,
everything happens for a reason, as I think we already said. But yeah, everyone, don't forget to listen if you haven't. Some of the most recent episodes. One has Brian McLaren, which sneak peek one of our keynotes coming up. Brian's episode will help you live after doom. And if you tune into the news, you might feel a little doomy. And I felt really encouraged afterwards. I was like, I'm going to find my ascot collection. So anyway, what is Theology Beer Camp? Sarey, do you want to take this one away?
Yeah, I mean, it's the event that Tripp does every year to foster community among his listeners. But in the last few years, the community's really expanded beyond his listeners, which is why we're answering this question. A lot of people who listen to Homebrewed and have listened for years probably already know what Theology Beer Camp is or have heard of it or have been before. But for the uninitiated, it's hundreds of people getting together to create community around inclusive, progressive, spiritual ideas and to maybe blow off some steam a little bit. Expanding the community with the Godpod community, because a lot of people are coming in having listened to other shows and getting connected with this community. Maybe we should talk about just briefly what's happening in this picture from last year.
When Tripp starts speaking, he comes down and yells right at people.
Yeah. That's the anxious bench of beer camp. It happens during karaoke.
Yeah, so this is during karaoke last year. There's our friend Myron A. Penner on the left, and
Naldo is duetting with me there.
Is that who that is? And then there, I could imagine maybe this was a Third Eye Blind song, or it could be Queen, it could be Bohemian Rhapsody. We don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know, but I just went hard for all of them.
Yeah, you got it.
Great. Karaoke every opening. Thursday night's the opening night. Karaoke is a classic component of that. From last year.
This is a good contrast from the last slide. The because there's always these sweet touching moments, and that's what makes beer camp special, the contrast of moments like these with moments like the previous the previous slide. But yeah, Alan really captured, if anyone wants to read this, maybe we can link somewhere or whatever to the Baptist News piece that really described last year so sweetly. And this is a quote from that.
And also from someone who's not a part of running it. So, slightly different perspective. Yeah.
He wasn't as busy.
So yeah, not as busy. For goals and values, obviously great community. You're going to get to gather in person where I always say things happen in person that can't happen over Zoom. Great things can happen over Zoom. And that's why it gets great returns in the stock market. But greater things may be possible IRL, which means in real life, because my mom always forgets what it means when I say that out loud. And then a great beer, of course, although not exclusively beer. We'll come back to that. There's lots of options, including NA options. And then theological zest. Tripp, how do you describe zest when people ask you?
Well, I mean, it originally came, Alfred North Whitehead, one of my favorite philosophers, when he internalized in his metaphysical system the shift beyond kind of substance-based metaphysics and kind of Aristotelian and Newtonian framings. You have this re-engagement with the Platonic tradition, and which had three big goodness, truth, beauty of these, transcendental, beautiful, amazing, eternal thingies. And he's like, yeah, but creation's also in process. It's in becoming. And so he added adventure and zest. And zest has to do with the aesthetic energy of the web of relations. And so, theological zest and a beer camp is, all these different podcasters have their communities and everyone's coming. And then there are all these academics and stuff, and they're coming. And then all the attendees that have connected with different speakers or podcasters before come. And then you have all these questions and struggles and doubts and all this anticipation and stuff. And then what happens when you're together? Ooh, yeah, it's the aesthetic play of difference. I was going to try to fit in the phrase rhizomatic, just because we discussed that in our planning meeting, but I'm going to pass on it.
Wow, we'll save that for the next FAQ. Good grief. Yeah. If it's not going to be full of rhizomatic moments, then I'm not going. All right. When and where? If you haven't heard already, which most of you hopefully have, October 17th or 19th in Denver, Colorado. I'm going to say we are, just a reminder, we already said this at the top, over 300 people already signed up to come. That's crazy. We are so excited. And last year we had about 400 and so, and everyone's favorite destination, Springfield, Missouri, which we all go to on vacation and know so well. So we chose a place just slightly, mildly more well-known, which is Denver. And we're excited to see everyone there. So, yeah.
And St. Andrew, the host church, is a really, really cool church. And I know for people that beer camp is often the first time a lot of people have been in a church in a long time. It is the largest open and affirming United Methodist church. And Kristen and I visited, and I preached there. Mark Feldmeyer, who you'll all meet on the podcast sometime this summer, is the senior minister who's also a graduate of Claremont. So he's a member of the Process Party. And, but the venue's great. The staff and support team have been wonderful. So we're real excited to be working with them.
Beautiful, beautiful space, incredible staff. I'm so excited. It's just it's wow, one of the most beautiful churches I've ever been in. Which, yeah, I can't wait for everyone to join us there.
Yeah. And this is, after beer camp, they'll be able to put on their website beautiful sanctuary shots of people doing karaoke with craft beverages. But, that just doesn't exist yet.
I bet they can't wait.
Yeah. Yeah.
And they already have a beer club, so it was a good fit, I think.
Oh, yeah. Jim and Jim,
the husbands.
Jim and Jim.
Run the beer club.
Oh, yeah.
Cool.
All right, we've got some great sponsors so far. Obviously, St. Andrew's there. We have Vanderbilt's Wendell and Cook program in religion and justice. So awesome. They're going to be there doing lots of stuff, including solidarity circles. You're going to learn a lot about that. Northwind Seminary, a doctrinal program in open and relational theology. We got some Tom Ord there, and the Center for Open and Relational Theology, also Tom Ord. So excited to have them there.
Yeah, I think like there's 6 of us that are on the, in the Center for Open Relational Theology group that are speaking. Oh, there you go. You can actually see a number of us here. I start saying something to Vamp while the slide is switched twice, and the next slide is in reference to what I was talking about.
And that's our minds have synced.
Mind meld.
Mind meld. All right. Oh, Tripp. We have our keynote speakers on this slide, and I think we're going to do something a little quirky, maybe a quick description. Are you ready? We are going to go left to right, and I've got my timer prepared, and I'm going to give you 30 seconds for each to describe each of these speakers, some of their zestiest theology.
Ooh.
So, or just them in general. So, are you ready for this? We're going to give you 30 seconds.
Oh, yeah.
All right.
3, 2, 1, and go.
All right. So each of the main speakers this year, or the theme is like, what is the question beyond the boundary, the horizon that our theological faith, spiritual reflection gets stuck in? Brian McLaren, the first one there, brand new book. You just heard about it, Life After Doom. Well, what happens when you start to ask the big questions of faith and you acknowledge the crises that we're in? And he's been doing it a long time, has a trusted voice. It's going to help us think and reflect on it. And it's freaking Brian McLaren. So get pumped, get zesty, and come on out. Ilya Dilio
next.
Ilya Dilio is going to be in the house. She's actually, her podcast comes out this week. Her new book, The Not Yet God, is one that takes seriously that so much of our theological reflection's been shaped by a metaphysical, a philosophical picture that was steady, stable, and unchanging. What happens when you start to rethink the Christian tradition and the liturgical text and the practices and the hopes and dreams when you take technology and the evolving cosmos seriously? It's great. She's going to invite us in that beyond. Then there's Diana Butler Bass, who, that session's going to be crazy. Yes, homebrew people, very familiar. But have you ever seen Diana Butler Bass preach a revival sermon in a tent with amazing music? Well, I don't know if we're revealing that yet, happening. And she said, if we do that, could I get a glitter cannon? Boom. I'm just saying, she's excited. I've never been invited to preach a tent in a tent at an October fiesta style tent revival. So I'm just saying.
3, 2,
Jorg Rieger is going. Jorg Rieger, one of the most prolific and influential theological ethicists around, is going to be inviting us right there a few weeks before the election to think, what is our theological engagement with politics if it's not focused just on the nation, just on the election? Let's move beyond it. And we're actually working to bring in voices from liberation theologians all across the world, from other continents, that we're going to like package these ways for help us think about it. And Jorg is pre-recording all these interviews with them. He's going to be amazing.
John Tatominal, go.
John Tatominal is a man that I love on the podcast. Homebrewed regulars love those conversations, and I love to think out loud with him. He is both an Anglican priest in Canada, professor at Union Theological Seminary, and I think brings the most creative synthesis between Paul Tillich and the process tradition. He also is a pioneer of multi-religious constructive theology, tons of fun, and a hardcore karaoke committed.
Catherine Keller, go.
Catherine Keller is Kellerific. You know what I'm talking about? In Homebrew Christianity, we always talk about the JCs I proselytize to, like Jesus Christ, John Cobb, John Caputo, James Cone. And then she's like, well, I wish I had different initials. What if you just call me Just Catherine? So Just Catherine Keller is going to be there, a poet of the divine. She's been doing all sorts of new work on ecological reflection in a process feminist tone. She's going to be bringing that and hints at her new book that's an engagement of process in the radical theological tradition. So it's going to be a zest bomb. And guess what? Gary Dorian is the Niebuhr Chair at Union Theological Seminary, the single most prolific theological ethicist in America. He wrote a multi-volume history of liberal Christian theology. He's written a multi-volume history of the Black social gospel movement. He's a powerful philosophical mind on top of that, like one of the most brilliant humans I've ever talked to. And I could not believe that he said yes to coming to Theology Beer Camp. He's a walking theological encyclopedia. So if you're a nerd, bring your question, and he has an answer that you'll just go, "How was that on recall, Gary?" And he'll say, "I don't know. I just know how to Dorian. I just know how to Dorian."
Wow, Sarey, let's give it up for that incredible speed round.
People might want to listen back with the like 0.75 speed on that one.
Lest we forget, Tripp Fuller listens to podcast at 2.5 speed, not just
with the
double.
silence cut out.
With the silence cut out. So that was nothing for Tripp Fuller, but maybe some of us who like to think slowly at times, which is me, I probably read at a fifth of the rate that Tripp reads in terms of speed. That was incredible. Okay, wow, look at this Godpods lineup. Woo. Oh my goodness, we already have almost 40 Godpods signed up. Can you guys believe that?
I can believe it because every time someone hollers at you, you let us know. And you're like, hey. And I would say you've done something quite exciting on the page. You can actually click through the theologybeer.camp page and go check out the podcast. So one of the things I would say that's worth doing for those of you that are coming, you'll probably know a few of the podcasts. And you're like, oh, I can't wait to see so-and-so. But you can definitely go check on the page, find some new ones. See who, they interviewed so-and-so. Have they done a topic on this? And and go already prior to the event, be getting to know some of the people you get to hang out with.
Should we shout out a few of the new ones?
Go for it.
Everyone knows Bible for Normal People. You have permission, blah, blah, blah.
Love wow, there we go. We all know.
No, but like Tillich Today, that's an exciting new one.
And Taylor's new episode that came out today, I'm on. So
oh wow. Yeah. Did we even know that? Or are we just that synced?
Oh. I'm pretty psychic. What's another new exciting one for this year?
Radical Love Live. They were a part of the God After Deconstruction event in New Jersey. They're coming. So I'm pretty excited about that. And the Religion and Justice podcast is new. They're a part of the Windland Cook program. I know Future Church is new. The whole church podcast is new.
Honoring the Journey.
This would be Jay Baker, who does the Revolution Church podcast and online communities, first time at Beer Camp, which should be exciting. And,
amazing.
Yes,
Ryan got new artwork for the Thor podcast across the Bifrost. So very exciting new artwork. Someone randomly came across Tillich Today last night.
Well, then clearly they don't have a Google alert for every time there's something new with Paul Tillich mentioned.
Well, even if you're not into Tillich, you should follow Taylor on Instagram because Taylor's videos on Instagram are hilarious.
Yes.
Hey everyone, I know this slide's really exciting, so you don't need to compliment me about it. I already know, and I have no symbol for D&D. But basically wanted to let everyone know here that we will be having on the Thursday that camp starts, but earlier. Camp starts at 6 p.m. So earlier in the day, we are planning to have 4, potentially more, pre-event events. And even though this slide isn't exciting, I did correctly put that hyphen in there. So please don't overlook that. The open and relational event led by Tom Ord is going to be for all our Ort nerds. I think, Tripp, do you have any more info you want to add on that one?
Well, I'll just say we're going to send out info with all these once we got the details to everyone already coming, and then promote it. But the Ort one will be a way of digging into open relational theology, kind of focusing on that. The faith leaders one,
even faith leaders, there's faith leaders.
Even faith leaders coming, and Josh and Brian, I know, are putting that together, and there'll be some other faith leaders that are a part of it. And that came out, and the pre-events in general and the faith leaders thing came out of feedback from the last event, where people say, well, if I'm traveling there and I'm already there all day, or locals were like, can we do something before happy hour? And I'm like, do you realize how much it takes to set the whole thing up? But if other people are doing it, y'all could totally hang. So the faith leaders event will be for people that are faith leaders in some sort. You can decide if you are getting to spend time together, and to make it easier for them to connect, reflect, and such during it. The geek stage, which is a part of beer camp, there were enough of them last year that all were hanging out in the same Airbnb, and are like, can we play D&D before the event starts? And I'm like, yeah, and we can tell people. And then obviously the event itself is so planned, it's hard to like go run out in nature, or you'll feel like you just missed a whole bunch of stuff. So for those that are like, well, if I'm going to go to Denver and it's in the fall, why would I not go hike, look at leaves and beautiful things? So
yeah. So this is just so people are like, they're planning, they're thinking about going. There might be some pre-event stuff that you want to get in early for. There's definitely going to be, it'll be separate registration and deal, and you'll get details about that soon. So don't worry.
All right, so this is so exciting that we have this FAQ slide, but I forgot that I didn't make a slide for anything that we're actually doing at camp. So let me quickly overview with that. In case people wanted to know anything else. I was like, wait a second, we have this whole activity section in our notes. Okay, so obviously there's going to be beer. You're going to arrive Thursday night. You're going to get there. You're going to see people. You're going to say, hey, I'm here. You might be in cosplay. Who knows? Lord of the Rings and or other cosplay. There's not just beer, but you will be able to get beer, and you'll get your glass when you arrive. You'll get to greet people. We're going to have some regional meetups. Very exciting. Please know that the majority of people who come are coming by themselves. They're not going with a group. They're not going with a friend or spouse or otherwise. And so you will have the opportunity to connect with new friends. We are going to have live music. As you heard, we're going to have the Post Helms Deep Oktoberfest/Fiesta tent revival that has Diana Butler Bass and live music. And yes, we are going to share the live music. Sarey, do you want to share the live music?
I think we can.
I think we can. Who are they?
We are happy to announce that Ivy King and Flamey effing Grant will be back.
Yay!
We're very excited to have Flamey and Ivy back to join us playing full band with a full band, and it's gonna rock.
Super
most
excited.
likely in a giant revival tent with glitter cannons. And there's other things I've got Kristen to put on a list for that night. Which the list has gotten significant. If I plan this early, the number of ideas I keep coming up with, I'm like,
I got the journal.
Yeah, maybe we shouldn't plan so early. There's too many ideas.
We learned lessons we didn't think were going to come up.
Kristen just writes them down, and it's like, well, if they're in my notebook, then I've at least thought about them once.
Are we doing this popcorn thing or
glitter? Is it two N's in canon? Which is canon? The cannon spelled different than a cannon that shoots glitter?
I don't know. I don't think. But some of the other things that will happen.
Andrew's watching this, being like, glitter cannons?
Biodegradable glitter cannons.
Okay.
Outdoors.
Okay. Biodegradable, yes. We can have those other fiascos. Glitter is crazy.
Well, I think we're going to have another sword drill with cool trophies.
Sword drill, yes.
Which is a Bible quiz for those of you that have less evangelical church trauma. There's always a bottle share where people bring their favorite beers from wherever they live and such, which is a lot of fun. This year, we're going to have a number of different kind of, what do we call it? Imagination stations, places where people can go and think and reflect on their own, or do kind of like art stuff, prayer stations, stuff like that for introverts. One of the regular feedback things Tripp gets is like, you made an event for someone who wishes they were still a youth minister and is a hardcore extrovert. I can't talk to hundreds of people all day long. So we were like, well, that's a good idea. So anyway, there's going to be a lot of cool stuff, along with ways for people to meet others in their region. We've got a couple ideas on how to do it, partially right before it, getting to know people in the Facebook group and all that kind of stuff. But where every year people go home with new friends they didn't know lived in their neighborhood and that kind of thing. So, yeah.
Or elsewhere.
Yeah, or elsewhere.
We want to say something about the cosplay element.
We're gonna have prizes because
We're gonna have prizes for cosplay.
yeah, the opening night
Prizes.
cosplay for karaoke time.
If anyone will remember, last year there were really only 2 people who cosplayed. Who were those people?
I know.
They were so cool.
I know. There was a Princess Leia and a Wookiee, and then everyone else was like, I got my themed shirt, and I'm like, a shirt? I've sweat through all my clothes before it even started in that Wookiee outfit.
Yeah.
I had to wear a wig.
I'd sweat so much that I couldn't take it off in order to do my opening talk because everything was drenched. Anyway.
Yes.
Yeah,
okay, wait.
As a Lord of the Rings character, as your favorite theologian.
Yeah. Okay, Tripp, you've got not too much longer left here, right? We got how much?
I gotta go get my eyes checked.
Okay. So we're gonna get, if Tripp can't see for camp, we've got bigger problems.
Yeah.
So we better get him to the eye doctor. All right, really quickly, let's move down to these user questions we've got. And we'll try and get just maybe 30 seconds at a time on these. Sarey, the first question I'm going to aim at for you.
First question.
Yes. Curious about recovery meetings. What do we know about this?
There will be at least one recovery meeting available. If people want information in more details or to connect with the person who is hosting that meeting ahead of time, I will facilitate that connection. You can just reach out to me. And we'll probably make that info public sometime soon. But yes, there will be at least one recovery meeting, and we'll have non-alcoholic beverages. Chris, I'll just say his name. Chris Estes is making himself available. It's like kind of leading the charge with the sober community at beer camp, and Kelly Wilson as well. And so we'll probably have them around sort of the NA beverage option, so you can meet and greet. And they've made themselves available to connect via phone or email or text ahead of time too, if you want to do that. But yeah, that will be on the schedule, at least one meeting.
And if you do have questions or you're reaching out to us, feel free to reach us at godpods@homebrewedchristianity.com. That is the email address you can reach. Sarey and I both receive those emails. Mm-hmm. And if we feel motivated, we share them with Tripp. So that is great. Thank you, Sarey. We had a few quick questions about housing and transportation sort of questions. So this year, we are going to, I don't have the final link, but we are looking to reserve some like hotel block with a sort of discount thing. So once that's ready, we'll have the FAQs up on the site. We'll share that with everyone. We'll send that to people registered, letting you know, hey, this is here. This is how close it is to the venue. The venue is on, a little bit south of like the center of everything. So we recommend if you want to be, it's pretty full schedule. You're probably going to want to be close to camp. There are also, of course, you can always do Airbnbs and sort of those sorts of things close by. I know a lot of people have friends. Maybe ask your friends. And then we do also have, if you haven't joined the event Facebook page, please make sure you do so. And sometimes people meet friends that are like, hey, let's figure out how to either drive together. Some people are like, let's room together. We're not saying anyone should feel pressured to do that. But if you're like, I want a friend, feel free if you're coming by yourself. So, we can chat about that, but we'll share those hotel details.
Yeah, and there will be a shuttle that goes between the event hotel and venue. So that makes other options available for the participation of part of camp.
Yes, absolutely. Will there be a literature table as in the past?
Maybe.
I'm assuming.
Maybe.
So. Yeah, I'm assuming they mean the free book table.
Oh, yeah. We're working on since we can't, where it is not a place we can drive it. But it is in the works. So the Speakeasy, which is a online, like a consortium of bloggers that review books, has done a book giveaway thing at the opening, and it's quite substantial, the volume of books they bring from different publishers who are trying to get in the hands of people who would come to camp. And also, if you blog, podcasts, and stuff, they Speakeasy works to arrange connections for interviews, reviews, and that kind of stuff with authors. So
Yes. Make sure you bring a bag to camp of some sort.
Yeah.
Your favorite tote.
Totes. All right. I have to go get my eyes checked. But
whoa. Well, luckily, we are gonna have more FAQs. So if you are questioning any questions, please feel free to ask us.
And next time you'll even get to meet another member of the camp team, but it'll remain mysterious, you know.
Wow. Whoa. Another member.
Yeah.
This is crazy.
Yeah.
This
That's
is
what I'm
great.
talking about. Well, we're very excited for all you to be here. If you've already got your ticket, make sure you check the email because it has the link and password to join the Facebook group, along with some other things we're not putting in the public. You can find out about in that email, and we'll send one. I'm telling this as if they aren't here live. If you aren't here live, you'll be sent this video. But if you are here and you send it to your friends, you're like, here's an idea what's happening. Unless we did a bad job describing it, then you're like, look, Tripp just talked fast for a little bit. But Sarey and Kristen look responsible, so it'll be good.
Collared shirts and cardigans.
Yeah.
Ooze responsibility.
So hope you all can join us. Please join us. If you're on the fence, get off the fence and join us. Like we said, most people come alone. So come alone and make friends.
All righty.
That'd be great.